the newest edition of Chicago Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. I am Joe Vitali. That is Skoks. And today we're just going to be going over some of the preseason games, preseason happened. Last night there was a game, not the result that we would like at all, 6-1, but some good things coming from that game and some teaching moments. And then the game before versus the Minnesota Wild, which the Hawks lost in overtime, very quickly in overtime, and an unfortunate injury to a prospect. So we'll just go right into it. And this is the Minnesota Wild game. This game happened on September 30th. And as I said, the Hawks lost 3-2 in overtime. 3 goals in the first period, 2 by the Minnesota Wild, 1 by the Chicago Blackhawks. So Mackenzie Entwistle starting the scoring out. Nice little snapshot assisted by Boris Kachu and Isaac Phillips. Good to see Isaac Phillips getting some ice time. And then O'Rourke assisted by Patan and Lambos. And then Beckman from Walker and Lethierry. I did not know that Patan, Lambos, and Lethierry are still playing hockey, but that's okay. So then that was 2-1 at the end of one, and then took all the way to the third period for Tyler Johnson to reluctantly tie it up. 1857 1857 into the period. So only a minute 3 of quick maths right there left in the game. And, I think it was Charlie or maybe Scott Powers or something. When it happened, they were like, you can see it in Tyler Johnson's face. He didn't want to score that goal because he doesn't want to waste his time anymore.
Really?
And I got a good chuckle out of it because it is the preseason and, free hockey in preseason. Yes, it is still free hockey, but players aren't getting paid yet, so they don't really care.
Yeah.
And then 21 seconds into overtime, Dewar from Duhaime and Galagowski. And this actually transitions very well into the unfortunate injury of Samuel Savoie, because he was going for a nice hit on Alex Galagowski, and Alex Galagowski sidestepped him. Savoie went feet first into the boards, and we now know that resulted in a fractured femur, which is just brutal.
Yeah.
I thought, this is my lacking of medical knowledge, this is me not being a doctor, but I thought if you broke your femur, you died pretty much, because you got your femoral artery right there. And if you nick that, it is just a matter of time, unfortunately. So none of that happened. Looks like, sounds like a break. I'm not entirely sure what type of break, where the break was located, but he had to be, he stayed in Minnesota and went to have emergency surgery, got it fixed, and is now just taking his time and recovering. Now, Samuel Savoie signed a entry-level deal with the Chicago Blackhawks, which means this is very good, because that means that the entire Blackhawks medical staff is available to Savoie. So, if he needs physical therapy, he can stay in Chicago and he can do physical therapy and everything and recover. Or if he says, hey, you know what, I want to be home, I want to be with his doctors and his family and then his therapists and whatnot, he can also do that as well. But the medical team of an NHL franchise has his backing fully, which is really nice.
Right. Yeah. Didn't think of that the other day. Yeah, because he is under contract now, and having that backing just working at. I mean, where would he? Probably like another facility, right? Another PT facility.
Yeah, I don't think they do physical therapy
Yeah.
at Fifth Third, but I could be
No,
wrong.
no, no. Yeah, there's probably more facilities for him, but uh, it's about like a 6 to 8 month, just to fully heal up and recover, and then obviously got to get back on the ice after that. So we're probably looking at, man, whole whole year,
Exactly.
like calendar year,
Yeah.
to get back to 100%. Because at that age, you really want to be 100%. You know, you don't want to hop on 80, 85%, and you're just trying to like make the team. Got to be ready.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
we're talking best case scenario here, maybe he plays in the playoffs for his
could
Q
be.
team. But I mean, there's just it's so far down the road, it doesn't really matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of want to just make sure that he can, you know, live a normal life first,
Right.
and then, oh, if he can also contribute as a professional athlete, hey man, more
Mm-hmm.
power to him. That's awesome. But
Yep.
just rest up. Don't worry about it. Everything will be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Just quick notes on the Saturday game here
yeah,
uh, against the Wild. I thought Cole Gutman looked pretty solid, playing center, just get it, getting around the dirty areas in the paint. Um, he's always standing out uh, when he has the puck. He was paired up with Taylor Radish and TJ Tyler Johnson
mm,
on that first line. Yeah,
nice.
thought they were buzzing. Yeah, um, Ludwinski, speedy guy, plays well in the corners. Few mistakes, but you know, obviously super young player. It's going to happen, right? Colton Dock, same thing. Looks to be playing a little more solid though. It's good for him because definitely rooting for him. Just from the past here. With Kirby. Just want to see him do good. Colton, Korchinski, thought he flashed. Some really good rushes, couple shots on net. Played well with the puck, but sort of the same thing from him. Like in recent games, just a few, you know, poor, poor time like turnovers. Not what you need in certain situations. Sort of seeming like he's a little fancy with the puck and just bounces off your stick and it goes the other way. So definitely need to tighten it up a bit. Just like Coach Luke said last week, just knowing when to like dial it back because he does love going in on the rush at 100 miles per hour. Just learning to channel it back a bit. Um, I think that'll be good for him. Just playing a more solid game. Yeah, more smart with the puck.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
unfortunately, I just looking over here, I
Mhm.
just went to the box score just to see what's going on, see the stats at a glance. So
Mhm.
Minnesota, 32 shots on goal, 45.7 faceoff percentage, 0 for 1 on the power play, 8 PIMs, 11 hits, 11 blocks. Blackhawks were
Mhm.
23 shots on goal, 54.3 faceoff percentage, 0 for 3 on the power play, 4 PIMs, 15 hits, 11 blocks. And these are also kind of B squads for both teams.
Yeah.
And also, I totally forgot Jujar Kara is on the Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
I have tallied up the Blackhawks special teams,
Mm-hmm.
And so they had their September 28th Blues Blackhawks. They were 0 for
Mm-hmm.
2 on the power play. Okay, fine, no problem. First preseason game, doesn't matter. 0 for 3 against the Minnesota Wild. Okay, well, kind of
Yeah.
bad. And then 0 for 6 versus
Mm-hmm.
the Red Wings last night. So the
Yeah.
Blackhawks had, I think, the worst power play in the league last season.
Mm-hmm.
And they are continuing that trend. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Um, I
Right.
think they need to, once again, preseason, we got to take things one
Mm-hmm.
step at a time. But something needs to give, and the Hawks need to
Yeah.
start potting goals on the man advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Obviously, you want to see the system work on the PP. You know, whether it's not the normal top six guys, right? Um, but you want to see the system, actually work. Like, let's convert on some of these man advantages, and yeah, just haven't buried anything yet uh, so far here. But I think it'll even out and improve, right? With that like solidified top six. Once we get into like um, the last two preseason games, I think we're going to see a more rounded out roster, right? Going into the regular season, and hope we hope we see some good things on special teams. PK and on PP.
I agree.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm just hoping, because I don't need or expect the Blackhawks to be at like 35% or anything. I just
Yeah.
need like 18 and a half to
Hmm.
20% just to kind of contribute,
Yeah.
as long as it's not a liability. Because if you keep getting opportunities and they keep getting killed off and you don't get anything done,
Hmm.
you're going to lose games that way, plain and simple.
Oh yeah.
And so, this year you're probably not wanting to win as many games. You're still going to want that top 5, top 10 pick, but
Hmm.
I think the Hawks are going to start kind of ramping up here and being a lot better with having Connor Bedard. I think just people are going to want to, free
Yeah.
agents are going to want to come and sign with you. And I think the talent in the cupboards on the way is more
Hmm.
than sufficient also as a supporting cast for Connor Bedard. So
Right.
yeah, just I like I said, I need the better PP numbers, but
Hmm.
um, that yeah, like I said, I mean, and then looks like the Hawks didn't start on time either. First period they
Hmm.
got outshot 16-9,
Hmm.
and it was better in the second and third periods. Only got
Hmm.
outshot by one in the second, and they tied in the third, and then overtime there was one shot, done.
Yeah.
But that I'd like to see that distance between shots given up
Hmm.
and taken just to be a little bit better, a little bit closer.
Yeah. And that goes into a point that I want to touch on during the Red Wings game last night, and we were what was it, 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 on
Oh,
PP?
for 6.
0 for 6. Yeah. So I think I could just start on one point on the PP last night. Um, we had a 5-on-3 for a good while, right? Um, Super frustrating, you know, to just couldn't find a way to bury it. And it's not like we were bombarding the Tendy with shots. The problem was we weren't putting the puck on net, you know. Even Bedard's looking over sort of center, a little right, towards the right point there. and he targeted Radish like two, maybe even three times. Just looking for like a 1T, and Radish can't settle down a single pass. Like he's not the smoothest uh, stick handler, or puck handler. Radish, he's got a quality shot, but not very nifty with the puck. A little frustrating just seeing like not just Bedard, but a few of those guys on that PP just trying to force it to him, because he was like one of the only veteran guys on that roster last night. So obviously the final was expected. I mean, we were running like 95% um, or like 90% prospects, you know,
Right.
and, and Detroit, they had many more veterans than we did last night. Like Stauber was in goal for the first half of the game. Um, Absolutely brutal, but I'm not expecting a whole lot from him. You know,
Yeah.
Comesso came in second half of the game there. Stout looks solid. Every time we see him play, he has looked the part, right? Just super chill in net, not getting wild. Love what I see from Comesso. Definitely pumped up for the Rockford season with him this year. Definitely,
Yeah, and no Alex DeBrincat for the Wings,
yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
Hmm.
Um, and then the shots. So same thing. First period, the Hawks didn't show up, and they
Yeah.
got outshot by 5. But then they completely reversed it in the second period,
Hmm.
and they legitimately reversed it. It was in the first 9 and 14, and then in the second it was 14 and 9. So in
Yeah.
favor. And then same kind of stuff. Third period, almost 6-11, so they almost doubled them up.
Hmm.
And so and then Alex Vlasic got ejected for
Yeah.
kneeing Arvid Soderblom's brother, or
Yeah.
Soderblom's brother, Elmer Soderblom.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Unintentional.
unintentional. Not, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
not malicious, not
No.
intentional. Usually,
Accident.
usually when you see guys get called for kneeing, especially if they get tossed, they're
Hmm.
sticking that thing out, dude. They're
Yeah.
trying to inflict
Yeah.
some damage. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
it's a savvy veteran, dirty as hell, but
Hmm.
move to just drift that knee a bit, and then bad news
Yeah.
usually. So I don't think it ended up in a injury for Elmer, right?
Hmm.
And I
No.
don't
No.
think Vlasic did it on purpose. So,
Hmm.
and he's just
No.
Vlasic.
He's not that type of
Yeah,
player.
Vlasic doesn't have the reputation of being a dirty player
No.
in college, in the AHL, anywhere.
Hmm.
So uh,
Yeah.
just
Um.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Just to point out a few guys. Uh, just looking at the lineup from last night. Bedard started out on a pairing with Radish and Double A. Um, Radish just seemed, I don't know, if he's just not, like greatly skilled for that top line role. Doesn't have great speed either. Just seemed a little, just didn't work uh, very well with Bedard and Double A there. And obviously line two with Gavin Hayes, Colton Dock, and Lucas Reichel, um, just struggling with puck possession, because Detroit had that veteran lineup, and I don't know if it says puck possession for last night's game, but they had the puck the whole game. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't think that's something they track in the
Mhm.
preseason, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at
Mhm.
like the box score, the Blackhawks, and it's like,
Mhm.
just dashes everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some forwards that escaped with zero, like Bedard, zero, Gavin Hayes,
Wow.
zero, Colton Dock, zero, Lucas Reichel,
Mhm.
zero, and Taylor Radish, zero.
Oh,
No
jeez.
one on defense was positive or indifferent. It was -1,
Yeah.
-2, -2, -1, -1, -1. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess when you lose 6-1, being a -1 isn't the end of the world, but
Mhm.
you see like Ryder Rolston, like whatever
Mhm.
line this must have been a line, Ledwinski, Rolston, and Dickinson, because
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
got caved in. It was
Oh, yeah.
Ledwinski -3, Rolston -3,
Mhm.
Dickinson -2. So
Yeah.
it's
That was
like,
line
yeah,
4. Yeah.
so I mean,
Mhm.
I'd like to see Colton Dock at
Yeah.
+0, 4 hits, 2 shots, 100% on the faceoffs, almost
Yeah.
16 minutes of ice time. He did get a penalty, nothing crazy,
Mhm.
just a minor,
Yeah.
going down for a
Mhm.
rest.
Yeah.
But
Even on the back end, like Del Mastro and Kaiser. Kaiser was playing the offside, so he was on the right side last night. Del Mastro was on the left.
20
Thought Kaiser.
23-10 for Kaiser. Wow, lots of
Yeah.
ice time.
Yeah. Uh, he didn't seem out of place, right? Like even when we see him paired up with Seth Jones, Kaiser just looked super solid. I've been pretty impressed with him. Just his puck handling, skating, defense, physicality. Bit of a surprise, because he wasn't highly touted. Like even just like a few years ago, before we really loaded up on those defensive prospects, but nice to see him carve out a little role for himself here. I think he's going to be on that big team, man. Starting game 1.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it was like interesting that
Hmm.
uh, we were just talking about Wyatt Kaiser. Yeah, I mean, you think of the Blackhawks with
Hmm.
college prospects,
Yeah.
and I cannot think of one off the top of my head that's been like abundantly successful.
Hmm.
John Hayden, maybe
Uh,
from Yale, but I mean, he's up and down in Seattle right now.
yeah.
I think that's his like third or fourth team too. But like,
Right. Right.
when you're thinking of a collegiate player, uh, he's like still like 20, I think, right? Wyatt Kaiser.
Yeah. He's pretty young. 20 or
Right.
21. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
so he probably did 2 years at college, and when
Hmm.
you're thinking, okay, well, he's like a 5'10" defenseman coming out of college. You have no like any like scouting on him. You're just like, oh yeah, man. I mean, maybe he'll work, maybe he won't. And he's been
Yeah.
a really, really nice surprise. And I
Yeah.
think
He's 21.
he is 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he might have done 3 years at college, Duluth.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, man, he's been really nice. I do think he's going to be on the first pair with Seth Jones. I think
Yeah.
the pairings are probably going to look something like Kaiser Jones, Korchinski Murphy, Tenorti Vlasic,
Oh,
unless the Hawks pick someone up by the name of Jake Bernard Docker. And
right.
he is a first round pick of the Ottawa Senators, and I have no idea what the Senators are doing right now.
Hmm.
They made some questionable decisions with their roster. They
Yeah.
went out and they got Vladimir Tarasenko, even though they couldn't afford him, and they got
That
yeah
that was the weirdest one for me. The
yeah.
Tarasenko pickup. When I saw that, I mean,
But
what is
I
going
mean,
on?
obviously, Pierre Dorion is thinking, okay, he lost. He lost on Alex DeBrincat. He gave up the seventh overall
Yeah.
pick. He gave us
Hmm.
Kevin
Kevin
Korchinski to
Korchinski.
get Alex DeBrincat, and then he was like, hey, he scored 29 goals last season. He's gone. I need somewhere to get 29 more goals. I'm going to get Vladimir Tarasenko and pay him like $5.5 million. Okay,
Hmm.
that's fine, I suppose, but I mean, you don't have your third line developed prospect in Shane Pinto signed. Okay, he scores
Hmm.
20 goals last year. I think it was 22.
Hmm.
And I think he's like 22 years old. Like, this is a young, talented kid who's going to be in your lineup for the foreseeable future. Okay, you don't got to worry
Hmm.
about those 29 goals, because guess what? Shane Pinto might get you those 29 goals.
Yeah.
Um,
Who
and
knows?
then you've got Lassie Thompson. They throw him on waivers. He gets claimed by Anaheim. He was the
Hmm.
first round pick, 19 overall in 2019. Okay, you lose him. Okay, well, well, I suppose. You
Hmm.
give Travis Hamonic $1.35 million in a full no move. Um, I don't know what that's about. He's like 36 years old. Uh, like a bad player. I think he does some really cool things in the community, but
Hmm.
he's washed, unfortunately. And he also hear he's a bit of a locker room cancer, but I'm not in the locker
Oh.
room, so I can't confirm or deny those. Um,
Hmm.
and then, you know, uh, so you lose Lassie Thompson. Okay, well, maybe you got someone else. There's that Carl Grunstrom, or I think, or Brandstrom. My
Hmm.
fault. They got him
Brandstrom.
in the. I was going to say Grunstrom is a forward who plays for LA. Brandstrom is a
Brandstrom. Right.
is a defenseman that they got in the Eric Carlson trade, who the
Yeah.
the head coach hates. He doesn't like him. He doesn't want
Really.
to play him, and he's getting paid like 1.35. So like
Yeah.
you got Travis Hamonic at like 1.35, and you've got Brandstrom at 1.35, and you're like, okay, where am I going to get this money for Shane Pinto? Shane Pinto wants $2.5 million. I'm
Hmm.
going to get rid of all of our prospects. So
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
weird. Yeah.
so that bottom pairing, I think I heard on the Blackhawks Talk podcast, it kind of sounded like the Hawks are just going to put kids on their offside. So
Wow.
that last pairing, third pairing, might be like Tenorti Vlasic with Zaitsev
Hmm.
the seventh,
Wow.
or it could be
Or even like a
Tenorti Zaitsev.
Phillips.
Yeah,
Like if they
exactly.
want to rotate.
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, Korchinski is not going to play 82 games. He can't. It's just not possible.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
think it's happening this year. Yeah.
so maybe when he leaves or when he's out of the lineup, maybe they like health bomb him every other game, and
Huh.
then in those games, maybe Vlasic slides in with Murph. So then
Yeah.
and then Zaitsev will get in on that fourth line, or for the
Right.
third pairing. Uh, but I think they should. This is me personally. I think they
Mm.
should go out and make a waiver claim. Waivers go worst to first.
Mhm.
So the Blackhawks were third worst last season,
Yeah.
and they will get third dibs. So either
Mhm.
Anaheim's going to be like, hey, we're just going to keep going shopping in the Ottawa bin and
Mhm.
picking all these guys from Ottawa, or Because I don't
Columbus.
Columbus, they'll have an opportunity for him as well, but
Mm.
I don't think there's room.
No, no,
Uh,
no.
I don't think there's a roster spot. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's monetary room either
Mm-hmm.
for them. So Blackhawks roster spot is kind of up in the air, but the thing
Yeah.
is, for right side defensemen, it's like Zaitsev and then Crevier,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So,
Yeah.
that's why I thought they were going to hang on to like a Caleb Jones who can play both sides
Right,
and
right.
who's young. So I thought like, okay, well then you can just throw him on the right side, and then it'll be Tenorti Jones.
Mm-hmm.
But he's off in Carolina, so that's
Yeah.
not an option. Uh, Jake Bernard Docker is young, and I think he's also good,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he would be a good pairing for that last, or a good pairing with
Mm-hmm.
Tenorti on that last pair.
Yeah.
So we'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely see what the Hawks do.
Mm-hmm.
They might just see themselves having a plethora of defensemen, like I said,
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, hey, if you're good enough to be in the NHL, you can play either side. It doesn't matter." Okay,
Yeah.
maybe they'll do
Yeah.
that. I don't think it's that simple, but
No, no.
I don't. My name is not Kyle Davidson, and I do not run the team,
Mm-hmm.
so I do not make those roster moves for them.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you there, man. A few roster updates. Keeping an eye on Rockford. Uh, the Rockford Ice Hogs this year. It's gonna be fun.
They're going to
S-
be a good team. They're going to be a
yeah,
force for
definitely.
sure.
Sending down what's this? Yesterday, so October 1st, Sorella. Not very high on him from what I've seen from him.
Didn't work with his brothers. I don't think it's gonna work
Yeah,
with him either.
right. His skating is, I mean, if I had to grade it, probably like a D. Um, Not great,
Not gonna
man.
work.
Yeah. Sending down Marcel. So nice they named him twice. Very impressive here in camp preseason. Love what I see from Marcel. M2, we'll call him. Sent down Michael Tepley and Nolan Allen to the Ice Hawks. So just loading up. Later on, sending um Gus, Cini, and Mike Hardman. So obviously they were on waivers, but they cleared. So they will be heading to Rockford. I mean, just bolstering that lineup. Love to see it.
Yes, and
Um,
with that trio that you just mentioned,
mhm,
Cini, Gust, and Hardman, they all required waivers, so technically
right.
the Hawks put them on waivers and then
Yeah.
sent him down.
Yeah.
Gust, he's like 28.
Hmm.
He's having a little bit of a career resurgence. He was thinking about
Yep.
hanging him up, but decided to persevere.
Hmm.
Earned himself a 2-year deal with the Hawks, so great story.
Hmm.
Brett Cini, he's a little bit of undersized, he's kind of a
Yeah.
little guy, but super skilled,
Yeah.
incredibly nifty, very nimble, great hands, good skill.
Hmm.
Hardman, another when we talk about collegiate prospects, he was a collegiate prospect,
Uh-huh.
and I liked him. I thought he had some jam and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
He's not really working out. I don't
No.
think he's. I don't think his toolkit is expansive enough to get
Hmm.
himself a roster spot with the big club.
Yeah. Also this morning on October 2nd, sent down Rolston, Crevier, Del Mastro, Roos, and Camesso to Rockford. Just, I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a really fun year for the Rockford Ice Hogs. Also sending Gavin Hayes and Ludwinski back to the OHL. So starting their season soon. Um, Back in time. Just super pumped for Rockford. It's, it's gonna be fun. with the Hawks, with the Hogs. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and Ryder Rolston,
Hmm.
Notre Dame's own.
Right, right. Hmm.
I heard a coach say, I think it might have been Luke, but it also might have been Kinger.
Uh-huh.
Um, say they love Rolston's engine.
Yeah,
It just keeps his motor is just always going. Louis Crevier, he was the one. He was the only one to score against the Red Wings, so
yeah,
good for him. Ethan Del Mastro and Philip Bruce. Philip Bruce, this might be his last year in North America. He might go back
right.
home to the Czech Republic.
If it
Or,
doesn't work out, right.
yeah, Czechia, sorry,
Hmm.
not the Czech Republic anymore. Anyway, Drew Comesso, man, really great to have him on the Ice
Yeah,
Hogs.
love it.
I'm honestly probably going to have to go up to a couple Rockford games just to
Yeah.
see him play.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so the training camp roster is at 31 right now.
Hmm.
Obviously, a NHL roster is 23,
Hmm.
so they'll still need to make 8 more cuts.
Yeah.
And we'll see who those are going to be.
Hmm.
Um, if I had a list in front of me right now, I could probably tell you who they're going to be, but I
Right.
don't have that information at the moment. But
Hmm.
uh, yeah, man, I just think it's going to be a really great year, really important year for the Rockford Ice Hogs,
Hmm.
and it'll be a pretty important year for the Chicago Blackhawks as well.
Oh yeah.
First year of Connor Bedard, and a lot of guys on a lot of UFAs,
Hmm.
pending UFAs coming off the books, and then you're going to get a lot of those prospects into on the big club
Hmm.
next season, and it's going to be really exciting. And there's going to be a lot of NHL free agents, interesting NHL free agents that the Hawks might be able to pursue now that they
Hmm.
have one Connor Bedard.
Yep. Yep. It's gonna be a fun year. All the way down from NHL, AHL, overseas. Um, Canada, college hockey. There's always something to keep an eye on here. You know, with the prospects. Yeah,
No doubt.
it's gonna
And
be great.
then
Hmm.
when this comes out, it'll be on Tuesday, the
Right.
3rd, which the Hawks will be facing
Hmm.
the Red Wings once again.
Yep. That's
Uh,
right. That's right.
and you will be able to um, watch this on NBC Sports Chicago
Hmm.
because I know
Hmm.
it was either last night's game against the Red Wings
Hmm.
or it was the Minnesota game. Oh, it was the Minnesota game
Wild. Yep. Hmm.
that you had to watch the Wild broadcast.
Right. Hmm.
And in those sort of instances, I always recommend it is a little bit annoying because it doesn't sync up too well. But if WGN is doing radio
Hmm.
and you have to watch an away team's broadcast,
Hmm.
just toss it on mute and then throw that WGN on and
Right.
then watch them side by side so you can listen to you know uh, Troy and John Weidman and Troy Murray,
Yep.
A-listers right there, baby. Oh,
Hmm.
some of the best in the biz.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's what I recommend. But
Yep.
tonight's game, well, when you see this tonight,
Hmm.
uh, it'll be against the Red Wings again,
Yep.
and hopefully it'll be. Maybe Alex DeBrincat will be in.
Right. That would be fun.
So you'll
Yeah.
get to see the cat again. Little TBT Throwback Tuesday.
Yeah.
Watching the cat in a Red Wings jersey.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
just hate it.
Yeah. It's definitely weird, man. And I believe it's 7:30 Central time. Yeah.
You got it. 7:30.
7:30. 7:30. Yep. Um
Awesome.
it'll be interesting. The lineup, because this is the um fourth game preseason, or fifth. I
Blues,
believe this
Wild,
is
Wings. Fourth.
fourth. Okay, okay, yeah. So obviously we're gonna see a more interesting lineup, cutting it down here. Final week of preseason. Yep.
Yep, 8 days away from a puck drop for the regular season, the 2023-2024
Hmm.
NHL season. So, gonna have lots of more content coming your guys' way. But for today, that's all, folks. So, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been the Chicago Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. I have been Joe Vitali. That has been Skoks. Go Blackhawks. Detroit sucks.
Yeah, let's go Hawks.